Right now it's September 8th. Oh, September 9th. 5 minutes into September 9th. 99. And I'm at this wonderful Office Evolution. And I am so grateful that there are owners like them. Apparently, when her husband was alive, he had this dream of creating this environment where people like myself would take advantage of these office spaces to make something happen. Like it's for the dreamers, risk takers, and doers. Those are the three people that uh, this owner helps to cultivate and nurture by providing a an incredibly, I mean, I believe what happens is that people like these owners live in all different states under the umbrella of Office Evolution. They have this prime real estate that they are able uh, to to use and make space for people like myself who are a dreamer, a risk taker, and a doer. Those are the three founding principles. Under the label of each room has the company name on it, but before then it has that list on it. And so I'm truly very thankful that there are people like the owner who provides this type of environment for me. So I'm here now, late at night, 12:07, 7 minutes past Cinderella time, and 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 I'm taking advantage of the night ambiance. You can't see anything outside, but there's some people walking by, cars driving by. It's dark. Uh, you can't see much. Anyway, so now I'm at the now I'm now I'm now I'm really pondering the idea of now I'm really pondering the idea of the very critical points of entry and exit. The critical points of entry and exit are based on setups. I I'm just logically thinking this out. Okay, so there's a lawyer who's a I think I believe she's an estate planning lawyer or something, and so she writes wills for people, and I have the fortunate opportunity to sit here, and then I have the fortunate opportunity to help out, free and clear, with no obligation. A while back, she gave me $50 from a bank right across the hallway over here, and I told her, "Look, you know, it's um, it's a great thing that I'm able to help out free and clear." And I told her, if you were to give me something for it, I'd be like too much of a burden. I would feel too much burden. So she hasn't paid me for anything, which is really good. I feel like obligated or something. So I'm trying to I'm trying to avoid that. So now I heard a lot of the YouTube channels don't talk about these things, just gets straight to the point. But this is my channel, and and probably nobody watches this anyway. Maybe my kids, maybe later on, my kids. When I become successful, I'll show this to my kids. When when I become when I have fully realized being a dreamer, a risk taker, and doer, that this is going to really turn into something special, and I can look back on it Look at all the subtle details that I've injected into the life that I have been living while I was attempting to become a consistently profitable day trader. So now what I'm working on, I just made a previous video concerning stop losses. I really have to focus on this particular part about day trading, which is I already know, okay? I already know that my chances of picking a direction, which was clearly demonstrated today, my personal account fared very well, which is good, and I got out with a small loss on the third incorrect trade that I made, okay? But on my FTMO challenge accounts, okay, I have two of them, 10K and 25K. I thought I was ready. So instead of finishing my 10K, I immediately jumped onto the 25K and I attempted to do that. Now I'm like, I have to subtly make some small changes in order to make that happen, okay? In a positive way. And past that, and I'm hoping to, one of these days, it's gonna work. One of these days, okay? It will be one of these days that I will finally get a payout from there. I will pass the challenge once again, pass the verification, and then somehow, after I become very good at it, we'll see a payout because everything has been set up. Because I got to the stage where I had the account. It was 50K. It would have been sweet if things worked out. But I was not ready then, and I am not ready now. I will be ready when I receive my first payout. That is a clear demonstration of my ability as a dreamer, risk taker, and a doer, okay? That's what I am right now. And I'm taking this advantage of this place. And I'm putting this fluff in there because I can't get to the point right now. Now what I need to focus on, okay? What I need to focus on are two things. Really, just two things, okay? I'm going to leave the third thing as it is for now, only when I have perfected, only when I have enhanced these two things, which is the amount of stop loss. Okay, I've finally have fully bought into the fact that I'm using stop losses now. I have fully committed to using stop losses. You cannot day trade. You cannot exist as a day trader without a stop loss. I saw a YouTube video of this guy who was on Las Vegas trading seminar, and he was talking for about 10 minutes. And one of the things that he says was that this stock named Dries or something, and he was in it. He bought apparently he bought I think he bought a put or something. Okay. And the stock started to going up and up and up. And he said something about, okay, initially it was $5,000 loss. And he says, well, that's not much. You just cut it and get out of it, right? And then, so he says he didn't do it. And then he kept adding to it, right? Adding to it. All of a sudden it became $100,000 loss. So that's how things work, okay? That's why stop losses are so important. Because that one loss will take 6 months of hard work gone. Okay, for him, it must have been maybe a month or something. But I mean, something like that is a lifetime of work for somebody like myself. So I have finally, it's amazing to me. It took 2 years to figure that out, okay? I've seen so many YouTube videos saying, okay, stop loss this, stop loss that. What do you think is going to happen if you don't use a stop loss, okay? And then some videos talk about, oh, well, one of the professionals really said this. He actually said this. He said, if you set a small stop loss, you'll start to make money. That's what he said. That's what he said. Okay? That just blew right over my head. Okay? Now I see it. Now I see what he's talking about. Okay? So now that I have substantiated and made it a habit, I have habituated this thing called stop losses. Now I need to concentrate because I've crossed to the other side. Now I'm exploring this world. It's fortunate that nobody's here. I'm freely thinking. This is the greatest office in the whole wide world right here. Okay. Monday through Friday, this is the hustle and bustle. People come in, use their offices. They have their own offices. One day I will make enough money to like maybe rent one of these. Okay. Then I can travel anywhere in America. And anywhere at Office Evolution, I could use the facilities just because I am a member. So I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get there. And in order for me to get there, I have to take this step. Okay? I am so fortunate. I'm excited right now. I'm extremely excited. I'm extremely excited because it's like I'm looking there and I see the possibilities are reachable. It's reachable right there. It's reachable, okay? Because I see the results, the fruits of my labor, the path that I've gone, it seems to be in the right path. So that's where I'm going now. So there are a couple of things that I need to do. One of the things, there are two things that I need to do. One thing that I need to do is essentially, is to minimize my stop loss. That's what I need to do. I need to optimize my stop loss. If I make my stop loss this big, that means that I could get in at a point where it's less risky. Okay? I'm just getting this directly from Al Brooks. He says this, okay. If my entry is further away from my stop loss, there is less risk because it has already developed into a thesis that has a higher probability of the stock moving in the direction of the thesis that I have created based on more data. That's what it said, which is factual. It makes logical sense to me with my C average engineering background. Okay. So I'm looking at, so now what that means is that if I'm able to get to the point where there is a solid, S&P Capital talked about this. What is this? ATR, okay? Something called, what is that? Absolute trading range or something? So it is a difference between the highs and the low of the stock. That is an absolute trading range. That means that it essentially, if the stock is moving between those lines, that means that it's going to be it's range bound between average trading, which is essentially a support and resistance area. Okay, they say that that's the apparently some people talk about that, but they're talking about the same thing. Okay, so now what I need to do is perfect. I have to perfect the incremental, the smaller of the amount of the stop loss, so that when I make a trade, then I get out of the trade as soon as possible to incur the least amount of drawdown before I know that the trade is incorrect. When I know that my thesis is incorrect, I incur the least amount of stop loss and I get out, okay? Now that it is conclusively providing evidence of whether my substantial and extractable and extracted and theorized and concluded of the thesis based on the setup, whether the setup is for the right entry, at the timing of the point of the entry, and at the time of the exit, the setup of the exit, okay? So I look at the situation to evaluate whether the trend and whether this momentary pause is essentially a continuation breather, or whether it's a continuation breather that actually turns into a reversal. As soon as this continuation, I must be talking a little loud here because I'm extremely excited. Okay, today I gotta go to work at 1 o'clock. Okay, I have to go to, apparently we're extremely short-handed. Okay, because all the high school kids have gone back to school. Okay, and so there's like old people like myself who's trying to like, there's old people like myself who are trying to like pick up the slack, okay? Oh, anyway, so now what I need to do, I'm excited. I'm truly excited. I'm getting to the point where I'm like fine tuning it. If somebody watched this video, the latter part of this video, it's an exciting part of it because I spent 2 years, spent so much, every penny that I made. I spent like 2 years sitting here and sitting there, like dozing off, washing dishes, toiling, okay? Thinking, eating, watching, breathing, trading, buying programs, studying, conversing, thinking. While I was washing dishes, I was thinking about like, I was like, yeah, this is it. This must be it. Making YouTube videos about day trading. And I got to this point. If somebody was lucky enough to chance on this, they will get this for essentially like free, because YouTube, I don't even monetize my YouTube. Okay? And so they would be getting it for free. Okay? What I'm saying right now is this. Yes. And I've seen it. I've been demonstrating for the past 3 weeks within my personal account. Now I'm also demonstrating it and fine-tuning it in my FTMO trading account, which I will do. And when the results are good, and I belong to a UK spread betting, I believe that's most likely where everything started off. I have to give credit where credit is due. Okay, they introduced me to Al Brooks, and Al Brooks has taught me what I know today, which is essentially a breakthrough into the other side and possibly moving into territory and have permanently removed myself from a essentially a blowing up my account. That's what has occurred so far. Now, to continue on the excitement that I have, essentially is this. I minimize my drawdown, and then I perfect the library and the encyclopedia of the characteristics of the beginning and the onset of reversals, as well as continuation signals within a chart pattern. When I perfect that, I recognize at a point where the entry is. Okay, so if it's doing something like this, is it a good idea to enter at that point? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Because chances are, if it does this and I get in here, it'll keep going up, because it hasn't demonstrated a clear signal of reversal unless there is a clear signal of incredible move up and then drop down. Probably that kind of thing doesn't happen too often, because when something makes a huge move, it is a prolonged width of time, right? There's going to be a prolonged width of time. I have to investigate how that works, okay? So when a stock moves up, like in a certain situation where there's a breaking news, what it will do is it'll spike up, and then what it will do is it'll take a few minutes before it starts to drip down. Okay, that's one way of the stock is moving in that direction. And what I have to be aware of, the second part is, yes, That is the drawdown that I need to consistently look into. It's a drawdown. It's a drawdown when I set my stop loss. When I set my stop loss, I need to be aware of at which point that I will be exiting to minimize the drawdown that I have. And that in unison with it's a symbiotic relationship. It's a symbiotic relationship between one that supports the minimal amount of drawdown with the support of clearly defined setups. That is an incredible combination to use in order to make myself a consistently profitable day trader. The next leg of the trade is to define within a list of stocks which one will have the most preferable probability of it moving in a large magnitude. That's what I need to be observing. That's what I need to be searching for, like an ambulance chaser lawyer or something like that, right? Because if there's an accident, somebody's going to sue somebody, and somebody needs a lawyer. And that's why the lawyer who chases ambulances are called ambulance chase lawyers, right? And so that's how it works. So that's the path. That is going to be the path of massive gains. We're talking about, I mean, the people who make billions of dollars, they make a trade. They put $1 billion in, wait a few years, because they know the direction. They've already substantiated based on the statistical probability, based on the confluences that were generated, such as their 10K and the growth of its industry and underlying sympathetic stocks that are moving in the direction where the thesis is moving, such as when Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway purchased Apple, they knew what they were doing. So they're making billions of dollars upon billions because they made the right thesis in the direction of the stock. Okay? So that's the path that I'm hoping to move into in the future. I would love to make $1 billion, buy a couple buildings in downtown. Okay? I would like to buy a couple buildings in downtown. And the first floor, I will rent it out to Office Evolution. Anyway. So, but I have to make money first. I have to be consistent first. I have to be consistent. I have to, maybe I'll just build my own building, okay? Have fun with that. Anyway, so now, the reality is I'm not profitable right now. But I need to talk about this so that so I am actually making progress in my personal account, but whatever's happening into my FTMO challenge accounts will reflect in my personal account eventually. Okay, so that I need to plan this thing out. I need to make sure that what I'm doing right now is going to set the ground rules for the future of day trading in my personal journey into this day trading. Now, so now that I have traded for 2 years, now what I foresee is that if my ankle holds up and I got a brand new pair of shoes, maybe the shoes that I'm wearing is just too like hard or something. And so every time I step, my ankle started to like it felt like it's bruised up or something. Maybe the ice buckets and walking around, running around, picking up trash cans and things like that are are causing physical harm to my body, I think, right? Because I'm not used to like washing dishes. Well, when I was younger, it didn't matter. Anyway, so next step that I would take is, these professional day traders on YouTube, they don't talk about their personal journey into development in an excruciating detail of the day-to-day journals that they took in order to become consistently profitable, right? Wouldn't it be helpful? Wouldn't it be helpful to have a consistently profitable day trader who was not a consistently profitable day trader on an incremental basis, have tracked everything that they've done to the point where now they are massively successful, right? Wouldn't it be great? And then if it's free online, like what I'm doing. So I owe it to people. I owe it to 10 people who are watching my video that I become consistently profitable, so the 10 people who watches it will become consistently profitable by watching my video. And maybe my kids, when they, I'm not sure when they're gonna like contact me. I have no idea. Okay. Whatever I've done, I hope they forgive me. But I have to tell them, look, I'm an innocent man. Okay. You wouldn't believe how scary it is when the state of Idaho, who has thousands of police officers and thousands of lawyers and hundreds of judges, will look at you and say, either you agree or we'll put you in prison for 50 years. Okay? So anybody who's posed that question will say, what do you want me to sign? What do you want me to sign? Okay? You want me to risk? Anyway, so now where was I? Now, so today it's like 12:30. I'm 54 years old. I'm gonna be 55 very soon, and it's like 12:30, and I'm like very, very excited right now. Okay, I put in like, what is that? I started from 3 o'clock to 10 o'clock, so about 7 hours of running around, getting things done, drinking lots of soda. That's probably why, drinking lots of soda. Okay, so now this is a critical point. This is a critical point where I launch off and just keep studying and fit those things in, where each point in a graph is telling me, is it in a trend, or is it in a range where it's about to move in a direction of this or that way? Okay, it could be only two things. Is it about to move in a trend, or is it within a range-bound situation? And when it's in a range-bound situation, is it moving, continuing, or it's reversing? Okay? Those are the things that will help me to enter a trade and exit a trade. And when I get in, I want to get in at the earliest point so that I can minimize my stop losses. That's the right combination, the right entry point, the right exit point. Is a balance between the setup and at the onset. It is that correlation is essentially at the point where I consider the trade-off between the probability and it essentially defines the probability in a particular trade. The entry point defines my drawdown, the stop loss, as well as the probability of my setup. Okay? My setup requires a certain things to form before it's considered a setup. But when it's fully formed, it has a greater impact. It has a greater impact. It has a greater impact on the magnitude of the stop loss that I place on my trade. See, I keep repeating this over and over and over again, okay? But some people won't get it because they have this mind of essentially being a gambler, okay? When a person removes themselves from the mind, the thinking of being a gambler, then they finally understand that it's based on a statistical behavior of the market based on the setup and the stop loss. It is the right combination. It's the combination of those two things which will define how successful I will be. And after I use this to great effect, then I can move on to something that will enhance the efficacy of each trade. So there is a probability of my setup working out, okay? Then when I take advantage of that with a optimized stop losses, then I can move into territory of selecting a stock that has a higher probability of being the right thesis. At this point, my consideration for trading at this point is 50-50. So even if it's 50-50, if my stop loss is sufficiently smaller than the gains that I have, then even if I have a 50-50 chance of making the trade successful, then if my stop loss is small compared to my gain, see, I'm yelling it out, right? I'm so excited. This is it. This is like opening up. This is like understanding something. This is something, have I heard this from somebody on YouTube? I have not heard from anybody like this. I haven't. They talk about psychology. They talk about the setups. They talk about the what is it called? The supply and what is it like? Supply region or whatever the thing is. Things like that, right? So they don't clearly distinguish between describe the intensity, the importance of this particular subject matter of the setup in relation, in combination with the stop losses that will eventually, actually somebody does talk about that, okay? So there's, UK Spreading this guy talks about the 80-20, right? So if I'm able to select a stock in a fairly decent way and my stop loss is at about 2%, but if I make 4%, okay? If I make 4%, I lose 2%, and then my trading efficacy is 80%, that means that for 8 times, so 400 times 8, that's $3,200, and then 2 times by 2, that's what is that? $400, right? That's $400. So that means $2,800 will be a profit for that period of transactions on a 10 full trading day. Okay? So 8 out of those 10 trading days will be a $400 gain because of the 80% win to loss ratio. And then when I lose, I only lose 200. When I make, I make $400. That's how it works. Isn't that fascinating? This math, I was just scratching my head because I was like, okay, why does that thing work? It is all related. It is all related to the stop loss. Stop loss is so important. Stop loss, and that's why professional day traders talk about. One of the professional day traders talk about this. I have never met a professional day trader who is not familiar with stop loss. That's what I heard. Anyway, so that's the next move. After this move, I will transition into essentially picking better stocks.